Farming way of life?
I wanted to buy a piece of property, and my uncle bought this piece of land, and then I ended up buying in with him on it, but I had to pay it off by working it off. So I ended up working 40 hours a week. And he said, well, why not, with all this extra labor, instead of just making it all pretty, why don't we grow, you know, bananas.
And I finally broke down, and I was living somewhere else doing work trade, realized that I wanted to have more hands-on learning about all kinds of things. And what I saw here was an opportunity to use power tools and garden and build stuff, and I really liked that conglomeration of living. So I signed up, and that was the beginning. It was five years ago.
Virginia moved onto the property, and they were like, you know, way older than me, or not way older than me, but they were like, you know, father mother figure for me, and they took the farm and actually were, you know, started it and made it, or, you know, certified organic and Demeter certified, and they had what else did they do? We ended up with 50 CSA boxes, and we sold
So, at the end of your 2-year tenure here, what do you feel is important for new apprentices and workers to know about the land or the farm?
One thing that I learned from Josh after first arriving is that this farm, Kipahulu, is a very unique biosphere, very unique ecosystem, ecozone. Just that the growing conditions here are unique to anywhere else in the world. There's a few regions that are like this, but just that that Kipahulu is a really unique environment and a unique place to learn to grow.
Yeah, basic guidelines, being open, and if asking questions. If somebody is confused about something, I would say go ask Josh. We have this thing about here, you know, WWJD, what would Jesus do? We say, what would Josh do? So go ask Josh and get his opinion on something, and kind of be confident. I think when you get your own garden, some people for their very first time have their own garden space, just start digging in there and check things out, be curious, and ask questions. I think that's a great jumping off point to all the other things.
all of the health food stores on the other side and as many restaurants as we could. We did the farmers markets. But then after a while, one of the things that really changed the farm, I think, significantly was when we had to like hold our own financially. In other words, actually take the biology and turn it into cash, which is what a farm does. That's kind of the definition of a farm versus somebody's hobby garden or homestead garden. So that was the big change when we had to be financially sustainable for ourselves.
And you were able to do it naturally.
Yeah, I mean naturally as far as like you can, if you consider tractors natural,
Right.
solar panels natural.
Well, how do you define it? What is the vision today as it's
I call it
evolved?
a more sustainable or more environmental agriculture. You can't say it is environmental agriculture or it is sustainable agriculture because that doesn't exist in my mind.
One of my favorite parts of living here is the reflection that I constantly receive from all the people that I live with, and a reminder of the commitment to keep growing and to stay open. And specific favorite part is I feel like the beauty that surrounds me, it's such an inspiration of the way true nature is and our true self is. It's so beautiful, and just because we're growing food or living on a farm or whatever, it can be really artistic and beautiful, and I feel like it's an important aspect of it for myself. So just being really inspired by that and falling in love daily with the farm and with new people, and my partner Josh, just getting to fall in love with him is definitely my most favorite thing on the farm that's happened in the last 5 years. And yeah.
So what exactly are you doing?
I'm roasting coffee.
So that's how it's done.
One way. Yes.
Where does it go from here?
Well, very soon now. I'm going to turn the heat off. And it's going to go into this giant pan. And then I'm going to shake it so it cools down really quick. And then after I shake it, I'm going to put it in jars, and the warmth of the coffee will help them seal.
How did you first get started in this business, this farming way of life?
I wanted to buy a piece of property, and my uncle bought this piece of land, and then I ended up buying in with him on it, but I had to pay it off by working it off. So I ended up working 40 hours a week, and he said, well, why not, with all this extra labor, instead of just making it all pretty, why don't we grow bananas and papayas and coffee, and sell it to our neighbor farm. So that's how it started.
The highlights over the last 5 years were falling in love. Falling in love with the land, being humbled by the land, doing the same thing over and over and over and over again until I got better at it. Being really sore, being frustrated, being happy, being frustrated, being happy. Living in community, just going through it, learning to communicate more and more and more. And yeah.
And then what were some of the major changes that happened over the 20 years?
Major changes, Well, Rich in Virginia moved onto the property, and they were like, father mother figure for me, and they took the farm and actually were started it and made it, or certified organic and Demeter certified, and we ended up with 50 CSA boxes, and we sold to all of the health food stores on the other side and as many restaurants as we could, and we did the farmers markets. But then after a while, one of the things that really changed the farm, I think, significantly was when we had to hold our own financially. In other words, actually take the biology and turn it into cash. Definition of a farm versus somebody's hobby garden or homestead garden. So that was the big change when we had to be financially sustainable for ourselves.
What do you feel the difference is between farm and homestead?
Money.
How does that work?
The purpose of the farm is to grow produce to sell, whereas homesteading is to grow produce for personal enjoyment and perhaps selling, but the farm is definitely geared towards selling and sharing the produce.
And what can they expect when they first arrive?
When they first arrive, there's going to be somebody, could be anyone, that will be assigned to that person to kind of show them around where their room's going to be, and give them a little farm tour, and show them the laundry space, living spaces, all of that, kitchen space, and then show up Monday morning, 8 o'clock. We have our first Monday morning meeting, and that kind of shows everyone what it's about. We volunteer to cook, we volunteer to clean, and we kind of just go working together, go at it. And you get dirty, be prepared to get dirty.
What is the vision today?
I call it more sustainable or more environmental agriculture. You can't say it is environmental agriculture or it is sustainable agriculture, because that doesn't exist in my mind.
So what do you feel was most successful after all that effort and time and money?
Most successful is the model that's here. I mean, this was just a process of elimination. That's why it works. Selling directly to the public, so we get as much cash for our output. And I think another thing that really turned the farm around is the perennial peanut, not having to mow and weed eat anymore. So we're not using as much fossil fuels, we're not repairing machinery, we don't have to irrigate as much, we don't have to fertilize as much because of the perennial peanut. The perennial peanut, it's really one of the biggest reasons our farm is a success.
What do you enjoy about weeding?
The practice of, I guess, becoming more sensitive, because now it's like when I first started, this could be just like all green and different shades of green, and then just the practice of observing, it's like being able to look at this and see exactly what it is I'm pulling out. Yeah, it's a practice in observation skills, and another form of sensitivity.
Cleansing
What do you think is important for new apprentices to know?
New apprentices to know. Asking questions. I think it's the best thing to. You need to know something, and you don't know. You don't know. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So I guess having the strength to do so. Don't be embarrassed.
Clarity for me means clear communication. That's still kind of vague, but if something comes up, going to that person and speaking to them directly, and really holding each other in a space of compassion and understanding, because we all go through it from time to time, whatever that it is. And I really found through that compassion, if we can create a no gossip policy, it's awesome. We all, including myself, fall into that trail from time to time. But if we can hold that commitment and hold each other gently to that commitment with compassion, I feel like a real tenderness and real way of living starts to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about the time involved, the 2-year commitment versus having a more frequent turnaround of people who don't stay as long.
Well, it's yeah. We actually have a 1-year commitment, but yeah, when we had it, when it was a shorter, time, we get a lot more transient people, and we really want apprentices that are interested in agriculture. So that's we say the word apprentice because it's what we believe it is, and a year is a good amount of time to actually get the full thing of the season. So yeah, that's the year is important. It filters out a lot of these people that might not come here. It's just,
I like to think I'm pushing more towards a place, a farm, a community where we're all committed to this certain level of living. Not that we aren't now, but I want to, for myself and everyone else, to really feel openly talking about our commitment to clarity. And I feel like that's essential while growing food and doing any kind of operation. So it only makes sense. I feel better when I'm clear. So.
How long you been here, and what have been the highlights since you arrived?
I've been in and out of the farm for 7 years. I lived in the neighborhood for a couple years elsewhere, and highlights: growing my own food, going down, getting my own fish, putting it all together, and having one of the best diets on the planet.
My farm vision for the future is I see more apprentices coming, more young people coming and learning, and at the same time there also being maybe a couple more people that are here more permanently that want to continue teaching people and creating art and growing food and inspiring each other. I'm holding a space for people to come that we keep allowing ourselves to be, reinvent ourselves and re-inspire ourselves. And so I don't exactly know what that looks like, but I know when those people show up how it resonates with me. And I envision just more beautiful spaces, more plants, and it all getting easier and easier, simplifying. Thank you. Okay, yeah.
Heolina leo ka ke aloha. Joy is in the voice of love. Ua ola loko I ke aloha. Love gives life within. Ai no I ka mea e mele ana. Trust in yourself. Kukulu ka ike I ka opua. Revelations are found in the clouds. Wae aku I kalani. Trust in the heavens. He ele ele